Good morning. The sun is coming up and it's still a little dark outside. This is like my favorite time of the morning. I'm just drinking my morning coffee. Yeah, so in this video, what I wanted to go over is some of the lies that narcissists and sociopaths and cluster Bs, how they lie. So in general, they will tell different types of lies. They will tell bold-faced lies, like straight to your face, where they're just lying straight to your face. They will also, I would say, the higher level, much more intelligent ones, the ones that are like super manipulators. They are masters at lies of omission and half-truths. Okay, so the lies of omission is, it's not even what they tell you, it's what they don't tell you, right? They will absolutely lie with omission or tell a half-truth, a part of the truth, and then withhold a lot of information. These people get off on withholding. They withhold communication, they withhold information, they withhold affection, they withhold compliments, they withhold sex, they withhold intimacy, they withhold their internal life. They're all about withholding. If you've ever seen the show Arrested Development, the mother in it, Lucille, they always joke that she gets off on withholding because they're showing a very sort of overt narcissist. That's what she is in the show. And that's what they do. They withhold, and they're masters at withholding information. And unless you have the type of brain that is very sort of distrusting or expecting for people to have this kind of pathology, you might go 10 or 20 years and actually have no idea that this is going on. Like it doesn't even like hit your consciousness, because you can't imagine being like that. You can't imagine being so pathological that you will deliberately know internally that you're lying, but it's like a lie of omission, so you justify it, you rationalize it in your head because it wasn't a total verbal bold-faced lie, but damn well, like internally you're lying your ass off, right? But they'll justify it and they'll be like, well, I never said that. And yeah, maybe you didn't say it. It's what you didn't say. Another thing narcs may do is they're really known for this. They will use very word salad manipulation in their communication, right? So this is something that they might say to you when you start calling them out, when you start realizing that they've been duping you and they're full of crap, and you start calling them out. This is what they'll say. They'll say, you made assumptions, or you made a lot of assumptions. Like that's what they'll say to justify like their financial theft, their duplicity. They could have told you for 10 years that could have been through lies of omission. It could have been going along with knowing full well what you believed and not disagreeing and pretending to agree, right? So it could have been through lies of omission that they may bilk you out of property, they may bilk you out of money, they may bilk you out of all sorts of things. Like that's like par for the course for them. So when they're saying, later on, if they say like you made a lot of assumptions, they know damn well that when you were making those assumptions, they were completely going along with you. Like you could have been in a relationship where you bought a joint asset together. It was always inferred and even promised that this was like a joint purchase, right? And then you could have had multiple conversations throughout the years about refinancing that property and buying like a second property or buying an investment property. You could have had all these conversations. And of course, if you're dealing with a narc, they could have been weird, manipulative, half-truth conversations, of course, but you were led to believe that was absolutely a possibility, and this was absolutely a jointly purchased property. And then later on down the road, once they decide that once you're on to them, that they're that they're what they're doing, they're duplicitous, that they're completely sort of screwing you out of that asset that you like paid half for and did all the work on. They may say something like you made assumptions. And, again, they know damn well that they, skipped with you down that road when you guys were discussing like buying, a second property together or whatever. Like that is just the level of duplicity they will go to, completely manipulating the heck out of their victims. And if you think about it, probably if you're a neurotypical, if you're an empath, if you're a kind, caring, empathetic, loving person, the worst assumption that you made is when you projected your goodness onto their blankness, right? When you projected your goodness onto them. So you made the mistake of projecting, your sense of fairness and decency and honesty. And not that we're all perfectly honest. Yeah, we all make mistakes. We've all told lies. People may tell, small lies every day, not even conscious of it. But you're not living in a world where your whole world is this house of cards that has been falsely constructed, because everything that comes out of your mouth is a pathological lie or half-truth or lie of omission, and you know it, right? Or maybe they don't know it. Maybe they're so delusional that they don't know that they're this duplicitous. I don't know for sure. Therapists have different opinions on that. But the worst assumption that you ever made probably was when you assumed that they were good, when you assumed that they were decent, when you assumed that they were honest, when you assumed that they were kind. And those were the worst assumptions that you probably ever made. You projected your goodness, your decency, your sense of fairness onto them. And, and conversely, I think the narcissist actually will project their duplicity and game playing and evilness onto their victims. Like they probably do that, right? And they could be with somebody who has a lot of integrity, who tries to do the right thing, who makes mistakes as we all do, but who's a decent person who tries to be honest and isn't perfect. But again, that's their whole value system. Like they could be with somebody who's monogamous and committed and loving and kind. And, perhaps the narcissist does some of the same things that neurotypicals do, and maybe they project all of their duplicity, game playing, evil ways onto their targets. Maybe they think their targets are like them. That's possible. I don't know. I don't know if that's what they think, or if they know full well that there was somebody who's really a decent person, and they think that maybe they think that you're stupid and naive for being so loving and for being so trusting. But I'm here to tell you that if you trusted your partner, your husband or wife of 20 years, if you trusted them and if you believed that they were good people, that makes you awesome. You're supposed to be able to trust your partner. You're supposed to be able to trust your husband or your wife. Like you're supposed to. So good for you. Good for you. And you're the healthy one. Their inability to trust anyone, that's on them. That's because they're not trustworthy. And when you're duplicitous and you lead a double life and you lie and manipulate and gaslight and cheat and do all of these nasty things, when you're like that, what do you expect? So you think other people are going to be the same way you are, probably. So, that's not all people are like that. In fact, I would say the majority of people are not narcissists. They're not sociopaths. They're not psychopaths. Most people are pretty decent. They don't try to gameplay like for a living. Sorry, going off on a tangent, and I'm coughing. I still have this little cold. But there may be in the relationship, we're talking about lies of omission, lies to your face, withholding information. It's all about this game of master manipulation, and you are a pawn. They're playing chess and you're just a piece on the board. And for them, it's all about this sick, twisted game that they're playing, which is so sad, because what that does is that prohibits them from living a thriving, full, beautiful, rich, connected, loving life. Like these people, if they, let their guard down, they could, I'm sure, and started telling the truth and started living a decent way, they could have real love. But it requires vulnerability, authenticity, honesty. And I don't know what happened to them as kids where they literally cannot trust another human being. I don't know if they, some people think they were born that way. Others think that this is something that happened to them in their early childhood development with the primary caregiver or with one of their caregivers, where they had some sort of maladapted attachment. It might be Who knows? It could be, some of the theorists say it's like, could be somebody who is like avoidant. So their primary caregiver could have been like avoidant and dismissive and withholding. So like, that's what they learned, right? They learned that, love is, it's dangerous to get close to people, because if you do, they might give you the silent treatment, shun you, or avoid you. In another video, I'm going to talk about the difference between the silent treatment and no contact, because they might look the same on the outside, but they're very, very different creatures. So anyway, I know on this one, I'm just really went off on a tangent, but yeah, they have all sorts of lies. Half-truth, lies of omission, lying straight to your face, lie. That's just what they do. Thanks so much. Bye.